Hey everybody, this is Mr. Hardcore Mode, where nothing's easy. Warriors and Witches, how y'all doing? And God bless. We are going to touch up on the AMA Ask Me Anything with Larian Studios developers on getting some questions on Divinity and what they have in store for us. I think two questions are going to be in my mind. One, are they going to dial down on the political ideology? And what are they going to do about AI? I think AI is pretty cut and dry what they're gonna do. We'll start off with the AI one because people are still upset that the developers are still going to use generative AI. So in the AMA, Larian Studios, Sven Vinca has said there will not be any generative AI art in Divinity. In the AMA Reddit, he added, to ensure there is no room for doubt, we've decided to refrain from using generative AI tools during concept art development. And this person, I don't know why he highlighted this, but the person said liar, and it says, having said that, we are continuously trying to improve the speed with which we can try things out. The more iterations we can do, the better in general the gameplay is. We think generative AI can help with this, and so we're trying things out across departments. Our hope is that it can aid us to refine ideas faster, leading to a more focused development cycle, less waste, and ultimately a higher quality game. The important bit to note is that we will not generate creative assets and end up in a game without being 100% sure about the origins of the training data and the consent of those who created the data. If we use a generative AI model to create in-game assets, then it'll be trained on data we own. So basically it's focused on data, not pretty much art. So I don't know why this bitch just said liar, which doesn't make any fucking sense, because they didn't lie. This person didn't lie. They're not going to use AI for any sort of concept art. They're more focused on time. Basically, that's it. They're making the fun part is pretty much adding all these new systems, creating characters, doing those sort of, mechanics, UI elements, those sort of things, sound effects, all these cool things that you want to add on the game. But they're the AI that they're tinkering with, they want to focus on making the cycle of making the game shorter. That was probably the biggest thing. But Jason Schreier was all about, they're pushing hard on AI, which is completely incorrect. So we're gonna go ahead and jump right in and check out these questions here with Sven Vinca and the team. Before that, Hulk says, so they're using AI as like a tool, like it should be, to help get ideas. Also, that person has one of the insane flags next to their name. Yeah, yes they do. So let's start off, and I'm going to skim down and find a good question, or if there's any insane questions. I like the concept of dark areas. This is a good one. I like the concept of the Dark Urge in Baldur's Gate 3 as an origin that allowed you to have customizable character while still having unique story that tied into the world. Do you plan on doing anything in the vein of that in Divinity? Ooh, like this one. Hope you see something like it again. Okay, so let's see. Los is an OG dirge. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm not seeing the developers on here. I'm not seeing them on here. It doesn't look like they said anything in relation to... Oh. Wait. Somebody... The writing designer. I'm reading the indifferent stars above at the moment. It's harrowing. Not really. Oh, wait. Where's the... There we go. All right, where's the development team? It looks like they're not going to answer that one. We're just going to move on. Some of these developers are just fucking being clowns. What are some of the mods that you wish you saw that are in Baldur's Gate 3, which that you would like to carry over in Divinity? And Divinity head of publishing said car wild shape. We're taking notes on all the UI mods for sure. The UI team worked very hard to bring the complexity of an open world D&D adventure to video game format, but we had more improvement in mind that we just couldn't cram into our releases. Happy we managed to make the UI moddable in the first place. Nice, that's good, that's good. Let's keep going. I don't want to talk about Baldur's. Any questions related to Baldur's Gate 3? I'm skipping them. What are the main lessons you've taken from developing and launching Baldur's Gate 3 that you'll apply to Divinity? Head Gameplay said, there are a lot of lessons and a single post is not enough to cover them all, so here are a few. Short and direct communication is a must for quick decision making and iteration. Avoid middlemen in any process and try to bring people working together on a feature as close as possible to each other. Yes! Automated testing and unit tests is lifeline to keep such a big project alive and going. Yes, very true. What does automated testing look like for the project like Baldur's Gate 3? TDD, when you write code, add integration test using a scripting language after the test feature is done to prove everything works together. Block code submits, commits. I don't know. They're talking video game jargon. I'm going to leave that one alone. I'm going to keep on going. How will you handle the canon issues in Divinity Original Sin 2? It's in the same continuity, but it's a standalone story. Long-term Divinity fans will find lots of familiar things, but it's never just fan service. It has to serve the story we're telling. The Divinity universe is full of weird and wonderful characters, and I'm really excited to be a part of that legacy. I hope it's not too weird. I don't want this to be fucking Fable, okay? I don't want everybody to just go around and be like, oh, look at me, I'm a clown. Look at me, I'm a goblin clown. Look at me. I don't want this. I don't want Chungus fucking writing, please. Let's see. Let me make this bigger, by the way. This helps. In Baldur's Gate 3, I really enjoyed the aspect of ending the day and going into camp to interact with your companions. Will there be something similar in Divinity? We'll give you space to build your relationships and companions. I won't go into too much detail here. And yes, you won't have to refill any spell slots. That's good. Let's see. I want to keep going. Can you tell us about new mechanics in Divinity that you're most proud of? There was something that bothered me when I explored that starting area of Divinity Original Sin 1 and Divinity Original Sin 2 and Baldur's Gate 3. It stares you right in the face if you think about it. In Divinity, I can finally do the thing I wanted to do in every previous game. Swimming confirmed? No. In all of the games, you started off at the fucking beach. We always start off at the fucking beach, bro. I think subconsciously I always found it odd that all three games plop you down at the beach and yet no swimming in that beautiful clean water. To be fair, not wanting to do it. So yeah, a lot of fishing confirmed. I don't care about fishing. Baldur's Gate 3 had a fantastic romance that lasted through most of the 3 acts. Are you doubling down on this? Is there even greater focus on it? Writing director Adam says, when we're designing and writing the romances, the goal is to make them memorable and to have them feel like a natural part of the character's personality and relationship with the player. That means we discover the way to tell the romances as we develop the companions and their stories alongside with. So this is pretty normal. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty normal. Yeah, we're just, making it feel, what's the word I'm looking for? They're trying to make it feel natural. They need to keep away from the whole idea that I can say hi to Gale and he wants to fuck me in the ass. There is a big thing that they need to do about romances, and they need to do something about fucking when you're hanging out with the boys. Developers these days are such fucking cucks, especially when it comes to companions these days. This is why I like Mass Effect, because when you're hanging out with the boys, Rex and Garrus, you're hanging out with the boys. When you're hanging out with the girl, I'm waiting for a developer to make a game where the characters realize what sex you are. You're a dude, you're gonna hang out with the dudes, you're gonna do dude things. The girls will probably not hang out with you too much, but if you're a girl, the girls will want to hang out with you and probably do your hair or something like that. That would be cool. But no, we gotta have the girls be non-feminine. I'm talking about you, Wizard of the Coast. Fucking weird ass freaks. Fuck you. Hey, how you doing, Craig? How you doing? What couldn't you do in Baldur's Gate 3 and Divinity Original Sin 2 that you will be able to in the upcoming Divinity? We figured out ways to burn things that we could never burn before. We'll still give you something to put out the fires though, no worries. What? There was a lot of fire in the previous games. What else are we burning? But it seems like elementals is confirmed. No. Nope, that's for nerd shit. I'm gonna keep on going. Nope. Stupid questions. Nope, stupid questions. Will there be co-op planned for release? If so, can you say how many players? Yes, co-op will be available for release. The amount of players playing together will be depending on the final party size, but since modding is planned for this project as well, player will be essentially free to extend this. There is no hard limit to the amount of co-op players. Shit. Well, there it is. Why do people keep on talking about Switch 2? I don't care about that. Nope, don't care about that. Will you include any ducks? Is Reddit retarded? Are there any recent games releases in 2025 that stood out to your team as inspiring or reinvigorating your passion for gaming making? The technical director says, I like deep systems, so I have been playing Europa Universalis 5. Oh god, that's a big game. Okay. What about the senior writer? Hell Is Us really invigorated me. Nice. Creatively, underneath the senior writer. Ooh, senior writer has been invigorated by Hell Is Us. That's good. Underneath, so there's going to be a darker tone. I mean, we saw it in the trailer. So there are some dark moments in Hell Is Us. Underneath the game's horrific depictions of war, the darkness, and the oppression, there is hope. It felt like a game created specifically for me. I want to make things that give people the same this was made just for me feeling. Nice. That's a good answer. Another person playing Europa. All these fucking nerds playing Europa. I was particularly captivated by visuals and moods of Cronus, the New Dawn. I don't like that game. I don't like that game. Writing director says, I mentioned Blake Matter in another comment. Even more recently, I loved Papyrus Solo. I don't know these games. I'm moving on. Moving on. Oh, you think this? Yeah, I think dark fantasy is going to be the biggest thing. The senior writer is saying Hell Is Us. Yeah, we might have. What are the playable races and classes? Head of animation says, we aren't ready to talk about this quite yet, but if you rewatch the trailer, you should get some hints on races. So you're probably going to be an orc. Fucking disgusting. But yeah, you can be an orc. View more. Got some good questions here. The Divinity trailer was some of the most brutally visceral stuff I've seen in a while. What's the goal in putting together trailers at Larian? Broadly speaking, anything we do externally that isn't the game is designed to give people a good time, to make them smile. I think that people in our audience specifically have a really good sense of humor, and while there are a few conversations of what too far might be, we were all laughing so much during production of the trailer that we kind of decided to have faith that folks at home would be too. If you look at the little details, the context, the fact that we managed to get it shown on such a big stage, it's a very funny thing. Some people were fucking, oh shit, lizards fucking people. Okay, that's, I don't know. I found it kind of interesting that they really wanted to show lizards fucking people. They really wanted to show that shit. The WASD movement mod was one of the most downloaded and beloved mods for Baldur's Gate 3. Will the new Divinity game include native keyboard movement controls like WASD right out of the box? Head of gameplay. No. Okay. All right. Don't care about that. Don't care. Somebody already gave that question. I think they already answered that. We already got an answer from that. Will Divinity be sticking to armor, magic armor system found in DOS 1 and 2? Divinity will not keep the magic armor system from DOS 2. There will be ways to protect your characters from harm, but you will not have to wait before you can use your fun skills on enemies. We are still cooking on system that makes sure that you have to work harder to stun lock solo bosses and level 1 skills, but it won't be tied to damage. Was there a typo? Okay, that's kind of interesting. I didn't like that. I didn't like that question. Somebody says, how would you describe the difference in tone between DOS 1 and 2, Baldur's Gate 3, and Divinity? I am personally very fond of the humor in both DOS and Baldur's Gate 3, whereas the reveal trailer for Divinity was a pretty brutal one. I think we already got the same question. Never mind, let's keep on going. Oh, they're keeping a secret right there. Will I be able to create a goth baddie in the upcoming Divinity? How could that even be in doubt? True. True. Will there be any familiar voice actors back for Divinity? Probably the same fucking people from... probably every single fucking person that you've ever heard of. They're gonna bring they're gonna bring every fucking Critical Role person in here. Of course. Should I call them up and see if I can be voice acted in their game? I should give it a shot. If you go back and watch the trailer, all of the women looked human, I think, but each of the males were other races in the orgy. Yeah, I saw that. I was well aware of that shit. I was well aware of that. He's not going to answer that. Yeah, they track choices and documentation. Yeah, I already know that. Why are we talking about Baldur's Gate 3? I want to talk about Divinity. Ooh! This is a two-parter. Do you feel listening to fan feedback in terms of writing characters for BG3 was a mistake? Some examples off the top of my head. Will was rewritten due to fan feedback and ended up rather bland. Adding Halsin as a playable companion kind of undermined Jaheira as a companion. In the Ascended Asterion path, the main character used to react with fear on how Asterion treated them, but was changed to love adoration due to the fan pressure. Many people view this as giving up on core character story themes and glamorizing abuse, unhealthy relationships to appease a vocal minority. Oh! And number 2, how are you guys going to handle fan feedback during early access for Divinity? Oh, good. Yes, yeah, good question. Oh my god, yes. Yo, are you serious right now? Where's the develop? Bro, skipped? Are you fucking... Bro. Let's keep... it was a good question. It was a good question. Skipped. And then they answer the next one. What folk tales, legends will serve as inspiration for upcoming Divinity? I personally compared the story of the trailer to the legend of Agria Mainyu, or the birth of all the evils of the world. They say, sorry, we can't really discuss on it. Okay. Considering BG3 was such a hit, why did you not develop Will further in subsequent patches but change the storyline and personality of other companions? His story always felt on the verge of being great and interesting, but in the end it had and continues to have no real agency in the story. That's not really what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about their personalities more than anything. Oh, here we go. See, of course this is gonna be here. In Divinity, lizards are hot. Elves are cannibals and weird. Dwarves are seafaring people. Are you planning on giving the orcs a special twist to differentiate them from the standard fantasy tropes? Game director says, without saying which species are in the game, all of them have something unique. I'm glad they have something unique. I'm glad they do. I don't want them to come out here and say like, oh, they're all the same. Don't do that shit. Is there any small spoiler you can give us that will sound completely nonsensical until we play the game? Alligator. I hate you guys so much. When creating companion characters, where do you start? From aesthetic vibe, an archetype, a story role that needs to be filled, and where do you find your inspiration? From a concept art standpoint, I see companions as an opportunity to inject culture and history of the world we are building, either overtly in their custom design and appearance, or subtly in their accessories and details. This may not exactly be a starting point, but it's a great foundation for inspiration. That's pretty normal. That makes sense. Somebody said, how do you find love in real life? The first step is to look in the mirror and learn to love yourself. True. Stop talking about Baldur's Gate 3. Goddamn, I want to talk about Divinity. Will Divinity have a similar approach to companions as previous titles? A big highlight for me was the different storylines of companions from Baldur's Gate 3, and of course the romancing. There's a hugely important part of the game, and I already love some of them dearly. We have big ambitions for them, and we're already complicating their lives and their own with a narrative design. That's pretty normal. Ooh, Max coming in with a good question. Let's see. Hello, hope you're all doing well. So you've mentioned that the next Divinity game will offer more playable more playable freedom and stronger consequences. How does that philosophy apply to evil or morally darker playthroughs? In previous games, evil choices existed, but they sometimes felt less fully supported or less central compared to more heroic paths, which often felt like the default experience. That said, I really love the evil endings. If you've seen our announcements trailer, you have an idea of how dark the world of Divinity is. We want to give players the opportunity to be the light in the darkness, an inspiration, a hero, a champion. We'll also let them leave the world even worse than they found it. Nice. Very good. Some of these people are just... Will there be sex scenes? Does a bear I guess a bear shit in the woods, I guess. Yeah, there's gonna be sex scenes. Oh my god, guys, can we stay focused here? I don't care how big the game is. What? Is the threat of the great acorn still looming over Rivellon? It is not. All squirrels were smited. God damn. All right. That's dark. Oh, Sven. Oh, here we go. First, I just want to say, love your guys' game. I'm curious what your opinion on the role of generative AI in the game development process for your studio in particular. Some studios like Embark and Warhorse, as well as several Eastern Asian ones like Everstone, seem relatively optimistic on it. I'm especially curious about if there is a split between different sections, like writing versus art versus coding. Sven Vinka says, happy to hear you enjoyed our games. First off, there is not going to be any Gen AI art in Divinity. I know there's been a lot of discussion about us using AI tools as part of the concept art exploration. We already said this doesn't mean the actual concept art is generated by AI, but we understand it created confusion. So to ensure thanks Jason Schreier, by the way, appreciate that. Fuck you. So to ensure there's no room for doubt, we've decided to refrain from using generative AI tools during concept art development. There we go. There it is. Yep, there it is. Cool. A lot of people are talking about Will. Some of these people are asking retarded questions, like put some people with brains that aren't bringing up BG3 every other question. I'll be honest, some people are asking the same question as the other person. A lot of people are just talking about Baldur's Gate 3, a lot of people, and then there's some stupid questions, and then out of nowhere somebody asks a great question. Somebody asked a great question and I didn't even get an answer to it. Will big naturals be available without mods in Divinity? What a fucking G. I'll do what I can, okay? Now we're back. I'll end it there. I'll end it there, baby. I think that's a good ending right there. Yes, please. Don't see it, can't see it. What? Don't see what? Don't the screen? Screen's right there. Anyway, I will end it there. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. There is much more. If you want to see it, just look up Larian AMA up on Google and you can find all these questions. You can figure out there's way more. I think we found the gist of it. But yes, I am looking forward to Divinity. I hope they do another one. I really do. because I have a pressing concern on pronouns in their game. We'll see if it gets answered. I'll see you guys next time. You will take care. Bye for now.